On the first day of Christmas, the YouTubes gave to me a new song by Geoff Castellucci. I'm sorry, that came into my head 2 seconds ago, and I found I had to. Merry Christmas, everybody. If this has gone to plan, this video is going out on Christmas Day. Hi there, my name's David. This is David K Reacts, and today, in case my ridiculous opening hadn't given it away, we're going to be looking at Geoff Castellucci's cover of Blue Christmas. I'm also going to turn my sweater off, because it really doesn't work in the lights anyway. For anyone who's curious, by the way, it's a Rudolph sweater. He's very cute. Yes, this is Christmas Day. If you're watching this on Christmas Day, sure, I'm glad that I can bring you some entertainment, or at least I hope I can. And if you're watching it afterwards, then it's Christmas Day again for however long this video lasts, because it's Geoff and a new video from him works, so why not? Yes, this is Blue Christmas, Geoff's cover of Elvis's song. Way down I had heard, I was familiar with, being the last Elvis cover of Geoff's that I did. This one, I feel like I must know it, because I don't know how anything Elvis would sneak under my radar. Not that I've heard his entire canon, but I know this is big, and yet somehow I feel like I don't. So question mark? We'll see as we go. I decided not to watch Elvis's version going into this, to find out, because either I'm going to be surprised with something I've never heard before, or I'm going to recognize it immediately, and whichever way we go, we go. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of personal experience with it that I can sort of speak to. I did have a quick glance at the details of this a while ago. Originally first recorded by Doy Odell in 1948, and it was then subsequently recorded by Elvis in 1957. This was, it has of course been hugely popular. It's had a couple of versions that have charted besides Elvis's, but the Elvis performance did extremely well. It was #1 US Christmas single, and it's hit, interestingly, in all the major other countries, at least the ones that Wikipedia lists. It hasn't hit #10 anywhere else. It got #11 UK single and #12 on the US Holiday 100. I'm surprised this hasn't done better, personally. It's rated platinum with over 1 million certified sales in the US, also platinum in the UK, and gold in Denmark and Australia, so it's obviously done very, very well. I'm interested as to, did something hold it back from getting higher up the other ones? Obviously, there have been other versions, and it makes sense that they would also do well, but they haven't done as well as Elvis's. So, question mark. I don't know, maybe I didn't read enough into it, but I'd be curious to know if anybody knows why it didn't do better. I feel like it probably should have done, but maybe there was something else huge that came out that year that I don't, I'm not familiar of, like, I don't know the year every song came out. All of these ones where I mention it, it's because I've Googled it or Wikipedia'd it or something. I'm not not a musical encyclopedia by any stretch. But yes, obviously a very, very well-known song, and I'm probably going to go in about 3 seconds. Oh, that one! I'm also very entertained by the fact that this time last year, I can't remember if this was my Christmas Day video or if it was something else. I don't think it was. I think it was something else. But that last year we did White Christmas, and this year we're doing Blue Christmas. Makes me wonder what colour Geoff's going to do next year. I feel like it should almost be 3 colours Christmas white, 3 colours Christmas blue, but then there's probably copyright on that. Anyway, I don't know where that came from. I'm in a very strange mood today. I don't know if I haven't had enough coffee or if I've had too much, but one of them. Yeah. I don't have a lot more to say about this one, so we're just going to jump on in. I will say welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. If it is, the way this works, I'm going to watch this through from beginning to end. Not stop it, but I will comment and emote over the top. And then I will go back and watch it from the beginning again, this time pausing, interrupting, and offering what commentary and analysis I feel I can, based on what I've seen and heard, and on the foreknowledge of having watched it the one time before that. I've been very excited for this one. I've seen GIFs going around, of course. And I toyed with doing this one earlier in the year, but earlier in the month rather. But I just thought, you know what, it'll be a fun one to do now. It premiered a few days ago, so I could have got it a couple of videos earlier than this. But why not do this one for actual Christmas? So yes, I haven't read the description. I haven't really looked into anything else. I've just prepped the video. So firstly, oh yes, of course, please do like the video, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and if you would care to donate to support the channel, you can do so in a one-off donation at buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, or in an ongoing format. And this may be new to some of the Geoff followers who are watching this. I have a Patreon that is now active. It's patreon.com/DavidKReacts. Only one tier, $2 Canadian. It's just there for people who want to support the channel in an ongoing fashion. I will, of course, thank you when you donate, when you sign up on the channel. I might do a more regular Patreon thanks down the line. But it does also gain you access to my Discord. And if there's one perk, besides just being able to chat to lovely folks on my Discord, you will find out usually the day before or something like that. Basically, as soon as I confirm an upload to YouTube for my next video, I will post there what it is. So if you're really desperate for that sneak peek as to what's coming next, that will be where you'll get it. I think that's everything. So without any further delay, let us go and hear the dulcet tones. Is dulcet the right phrase for somebody who tends to sing in their boots all the time? I'm not sure. Anyway, the delightful voice of Mr. Geoff Castellucci covering Elvis Presley's Blue Christmas. Momentary hiccup there, and I'm glad I caught this in time. I was just about to hit the go button, and I realized something had busted on OBS. I hit the button to make this appear, and it didn't. And I didn't clock it because with my focus down on my lower screen, which is what that's copying, I almost didn't catch it. Phew! We're all okay. Let us see what Mr. Geoff Castellucci does with his cover of Elvis Presley's Blue Christmas. And let's also find out whether I know it or not, because that's bugging me. Okay, the timing of that title card, I love it.
I'll have a blue Christmas without you. I'll be so blue just thinking about you.
Nice, sir.
Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree.
I see what he did with the t-shirts. I like it.
Won't be the same if you're not here with me. And when those blue
That's a lovely I'll talk about that later, but that drift into thoughtfulness.
That's when those blue
I don't think I know this. I don't know how I haven't heard it, but I don't think I have. Oh, hello.
And you'll be doing alright with your Christmas of white. But I'll have a blue Christmas.
Obviously, it goes without saying I love the blue light in the background.
It's Christmas time, darling, and I'm missing you something fierce. I may have treated you poorly, but I never meant to chase your love away.
Oh, this is
and now
cute.
I realize that I hurt you, and my transgressions are numerous. For example,
His
I can now
expressions.
admit that you were right. Setting fire to my truck was indeed an appropriate response to me arriving home late from work. I needed a new one anyway. And in retrospect, giving away my dog was the right choice. Taking him for walks was occupying a lot of time that I could have been spending with you. It does make perfect sense in hindsight that you were just testing out the bed sheets with my best friend Bill. You know I have sensitive skin, and that was But it's the holidays, baby, and I desperately need you because I need your love, and I need you to let me back into the house. You locked me out and took my keys, honey.
Oh, his delivery.
It's getting a little cold. You'll be doing alright with your Christmas of white, but I'll have a blue Christmas. You'll be
Is that a Rockapella t-shirt?
doing alright with your Christmas of white, but I'll have a blue Christmas.
Look, Kathy. Oh, that's cute.
Hey y'all, thanks for watching and happy holidays. I appreciate every last one of you, and of course the lion's share of my gratitude goes out to my Patreon community who continue to indulge my musical whims. Special shout out goes to Huldra Draco, Mythos Myths, Helen Anderson, Diane Holland, Sarah O, Lori Templeman, Laura Mueller, Debbie Goodling, Jordy S, Barb Wells, A.M. Person, Angie Woolard, Carl and Melanie Thomas, Alsha M. Lagnestall and Dorothy Brune, and Debs Badger. Thanks again for watching. Stay safe out there. Have a great holiday. And I'll see you next year.
Right? Oh. Oh, I love the cover too. Always do. The covers are so good. Oh, that was great. That was really nice. Geoff's made some really good choices in this one. He always does, but you know, I have to say it anyway. Yeah, I love this album artwork. Him and Voice play both. It's just this lovely addition of here's a piece of artwork that's essentially a piece of single artwork, right? This is the it's not an album cover. It's just this song, and I love it. It's great. It's such a nice touch, and they're always really good. Geoff, sir, you have, as usual, outdone yourself. That was fantastic. I really don't know that song. I think I've heard the Blue, Blue, Blue Christmas before. And my mind I'd forgotten exactly how it went, but my mind went, that's probably in this. But nothing of the rest of that sounded familiar. So I've no idea. I don't even know, was that, I'll probably find out by the time I edit this, but was that that section in the middle where he was texting, is that all in the original? I don't know. I will, as I say, I'll probably have found out. If I don't post anything here that clarifies that point, please let me know, because it probably means I haven't found out yet. And I've got a lot of content to produce by the end of the year, so I will have a little less, what's the word? Research time than I normally would do. That's fantastic. I love that. Let's go back to the beginning, watch it through, we'll see what I can pull out of it. But this is really good. First things first. I always stop in the first 2 seconds if you haven't been to my channel before. I love this choice here. I was looking at it and I'm like, what's in focus? Because it sure ain't Geoff. And I think the most in focus thing we can see is the little Christmas tree. Even the bottle of detergent looks like it's slightly out of focus, although that might be a optical illusion because of the panel behind it. But fascinating choice here to start with the subject of our song completely out of focus. It gives us a very clear setting. I think also what's interesting is it kind of tells us this is where the song is going to happen, because this is where the camera is focusing. So we sort of expect Geoff to turn around and come back here, even though that's not where, he doesn't do it in this shot. Interesting. Also love the use of blue, of course. The side lighting of the blue, it gives a great sort of side profile light for Geoff, but also just the sort of beams of blue behind lighting up the doors to all the washers and things like that is a really nice touch. I like this. And then this, right here, we get this very quick view of Geoff, and rather than focusing on him for any length of time, he gets out of the way and shuts the door, and that timing with the lock, it's an easy thing to do, to time the title card with that sound. But it's so perfect, and it's great, especially because even the inside of the drum here is blue. And I can't decide if the stuff on over here is being reflected from the drum here, or if they've actually also got a blue light inside this thing. Regardless, whatever they've done to achieve this effect is great. And then we get this title card. That's so good. And it's a nice touch to outline it slightly in the white, because he's talking, you'll be okay with your white Christmas. I enjoy the fact that he's therefore outlined the blue in white, specifically. Oh, it's a dryer. Whatever. Washer, dryer. And unusually for Geoff, it's a long time before we get any music at all. We get the two big sighs, the shutting of the door, all this sort of thing. You know, a little bit of self-indulgence of the emotion of the character right now. But he hasn't started singing yet.
I'll have a blue Christmas without you.
That's a lovely start. I'll have a... It's crazy. With a cold, you think my voice would be lower, but apparently I can't get down there today. I'll have a blue... Until blue, no guitar. Just 3 clean notes from Geoff before anything else happens. Out of the fact that we've only heard, really, if you discount the door, which, you know, it's not a human sound, in terms of people-created sounds, we've only heard his voice so far. The 2 sighs. Not even his voice, we've heard his breath. And so it's interesting because it's almost like he evolves the sounds he is making before he brings in any instrumentation. I talk about evolution all the time, to the point where you're all probably sick of hearing about it. But this is a really interesting way of doing it.
I'll have a blue Christmas without you.
And I also love this decision to have that first chord of each iteration of this pattern hold on. Blue... Dum, da-dum, da-dum, dum, dum. And it's a long held. It just the note just fades. And it's a nice touch. It means everything's coming in very slowly. This isn't going to be a crazy upbeat song. You know, it's something like God Rest You Merry Gentlemen, where Geoff took something, started it out quite conventional, and then took it into this really kind of, you know, it had that sort of feel to it going on. He's not doing that here. He's keeping it quite bare and sparse. There's no crazy amount of instrumentation over this version, and I think that's a great choice.
Without you.
Oh, I just realised, do we see Kathy walk past there? I feel like...
Without you.
Oh yeah, I think that was her just... Oh, and you see her there, yeah.
I'll be so
just passed by at that point.
Just thinking about...
Oh, that's so nice too. Thinking. And the act of thinking, it's just kind of like, oh, I'm just thinking. Thinking about you. It's... I love that he's kind of balancing this. Thinking about you is the good thing. But it's not in this case, because I'm thinking about you not being here. And so when he does the thinking, he just falls off it at the end.
Just thinking about you.
And that, I think, might be the lowest note that we get from him in this whole song, the thinking. He drops right down there. He doesn't spend any time at all, I think, in extended range here. Everything is in... He's not using any special techniques like fry or subharmonics to get down to those, you know, E1s or anything like that. There's nothing that crazy in this, and there doesn't need to be. The arrangements are not asking for it. I think it's a really interesting choice and a good choice not to be doing that in this version.
Just thinking about you. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree.
I mentioned the t-shirts, if anyone didn't pick up on it, which is fairly obvious, but notice as decorations of red as he folds a red t-shirt on a green Christmas tree as he folds a green t-shirt. It's simple, but the lyrics and the visual wrapping together is a very, very nice thing to do. Is it a bit on the nose? Maybe. But at the same time, it's, you know, it's not like he's holding up a red decoration and picking up the tree that's just to his right, which he could have done. He could pick the tree up, sure. But it's just the colour of the shirt that he's folding. So it's a little bit more subtle. And I like that. Because our mind will still connect the two, but it's not sort of a, you know, poof, slap around the face use of that mechanism. Even if it is, you know, yes, there is something green being held up as he sings green. I think it's a really smart decision to do it this way, and it's great. It's subtle. I love it.
Won't be the same if you're not here with me. And when
I love that. It's There's something so natural about that, isn't there? The sort of me, the defocus. Oh, well, it's a very natural thing, but he's using the ability to hold on to that final note, to pause that final note, to make it very legit. I really like that. Also, I just thought of something. I don't usually jump back places. Was that first shirt blue, or is that grey? I'm just wondering if he was singing I'll Have a Blue Christmas Without You while folding a blue shirt. I'm going to pretend it's blue. I can't quite tell if that's the light making a grey shirt look a little bluer. But, yeah, again, use of colour in lyric, use of colour in visual.
If you're not here with me.
Ah! All the buttons.
And when those blue snowflakes start falling,
that's a nice maneuver as well. Falling. Whatever his motion was there. It's nice. It's kind of adding a little bit of richness to this thing without really needing to expand the arrangement at all. What we're also getting here is we're getting... I think this is the Geoffettes in the background, right?
Flakes start falling.
Yeah, the Geoffettes are just humming in the background, or oohing in the background. They're not really as much of a part of this as they would be in most of his songs. And I think that's a really good choice too, because this is more a song about sort of, being lonely, effectively. And doing that by not having other Geoffs on screen with him, or even really that present in the arrangement, I think is a really good decision.
That's when those blue memories start calling.
Nice little riff there too. Very small, very subtle, but at the same time, just adds a little something to catch the ear. He's becoming more and more confident with those. I bet you a year ago he wouldn't have slipped one of those in quite as confidently. And I think the choice to keep it, the same reason I think it's nice that we're not getting like some crazy sub in the middle of this. The fact that he's keeping this contained is a really good choice as well. This isn't really a song that wants to be flashy. This is a great presentation of it, so I love that.
Memories start calling, and you'll be doing all right with your Christmas of white.
Oh, that's so lovely. I love that motion up there, up to white, the chord underneath. Absolutely beautiful sound coming through there. The Geoffettes are a little more prominent there, but they're still, they're not intruding in any way. I love this lyric. You'll be doing all right with your Christmas of White. I just saw we have an old and boring T-shirt.
With your Christmas of white, but I'll have a blue, 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 blue Christmas.
Lovely bit of post-processing on that. It gives me the vibe almost that we're switching from the Geoff who is singing, who's maybe, one aspect of Geoff. Now we're switching into the Geoff who is sending these text messages, who is maybe, it's a slightly different mental space. And so that choice to process that fade out of Christmas there, so that it kind of processes almost into having more reverb as it gets quieter, is a really interesting choice, because it gives us the sense that it's disappearing off into the distance. And now our focus is going to be on something slightly different. And it first sounds like the focus is going to be on the guitar, except it's not. It's going to be on Geoff delivering this monologue, essentially, in the form of these text messages. This is really smart audio design.
It's Christmas time, darling, and I'm missing you something fierce. I may have treated you poorly, but I never meant to chase your love away.
His small sort of acting motions here as he's he's sort of typing this out are fantastic. He's adding so much character to what he's like. There's a lot of character in his voice already. We know he's a great narrator. He does narration as a secondary thing on YouTube. But the way that he's performing this is so good. And the fact that he's not even moving his mouth here, like he's done it deliberately as an inner monologue of what he's typing. But he's putting a lot of expression into his face. And it allows him to put in expression that's not confined by the shapes his mouth is having to make already. It gives him full freedom to do what he wants. And I love what he's doing here. It's great.
I may have treated you poorly, but I never...
That sort of slightly sucking on his teeth. It's great.
...meant to chase your love away. And now I realize that I hurt you, and my transgressions are numerous.
This lookup is so good. My Yeah, they really are. Yeah, well, let's list them. There's something slightly puckish about the facial expressions he's using to deliver this. There's a sincerity to it, but there's also a real, there's a wink at the same time. I don't quite know how to describe it. It's not like he's trying to, obviously the song, these sort of, this monologue is ridiculous. It's no problem you set fire to the car and gave my dog away and locked me out of my house. That's fine. It's fine. I deserved it. But at the same time, it's not entirely pulling away from what could be somebody sending a text message. It's an interestingly delicate balance he's treading here, and I love it.
For example, I can now admit that you were right. Setting fire to my truck was indeed an appropriate response to me arriving home late from work.
As he starts saying that, setting fire to my truck was okay, as he's getting up. Just, again, I don't really have much to add to this, just another great expression. His use of expression in this is incredible. I've always said his face is very expressive. He can tell a story with expressions incredibly easily. He's doing a phenomenal job of it here. We've seen him do it with no makeup before, but also worth mentioning with no makeup. Like, he's not Oogie Boogie here, or, Ursula, or something like that. He's just Geoff. And it's just proving how much he can do, which I think we all know, but nevertheless, it's impressive.
I needed a new one anyway.
That thought right there. Yep. So good.
You arriving home late from work. I needed a new one anyway. And in retrospect, giving away my dog was the right choice. Taking him for walks was occupying a lot of time that I could have been spending with you.
I love that in the process of sending that, he's just like, yeah. There's just that one sort of short section where he just raises his eyebrows, like it's sad to see the dog, but he's so earnest in what he's typing. This is great.
Also, it does make perfect sense in hindsight that you were just testing out the bed sheets with my best friend Bill.
Didn't think it was going to go there, but I do enjoy that. The slightly puzzled look. Sure. If you'd asked me anything about this beforehand, that is not what I would have expected to have been coming up.
You know I have sensitive skin, and that was mighty thoughtful of you.
I'm going to have to go back to listen to the Elvis version and see if this is a Geoff creation or if this was in the original. Whatever it is, it's great. It's so good. It's such a comedic monologue. It's really, really well delivered, of course, which helps a lot. But the writing is very, very funny.
But it's the holidays, baby, and I desperately need you. Because I need your love. And I need you to let me back into the house. You locked me out and took my keys, honey.
That delivery. You locked me out and took my keys, honey. It's the holding on of you, and then everything else just delivered so pragmatically. That's funny. That is really... I think that's my favourite line in the whole thing, actually, just because of how he delivers it. It's fantastic.
I need you to let me back into the house. You locked me out and took my keys, honey. And it's starting to snow. It's getting a little cold.
just before we go back into the song, I am also going to say the backing underneath that was fantastic, because there was something going on all the time. And Geoff's getting really good with these VST instruments. Like, the quality of the underscoring and the accompaniment for this is fantastic. But it doesn't intrude at any point. He keeps it, the space is occupied, and something is happening, but it's not drawing away from what we're supposed to be watching, like the focal point of this. That's really, really, really well assembled.
You'll be doing all right with your Christmas of white.
And I love here, now we have the Geoffettes actually singing the lyrics, after we've gone through the full iteration of the lyrics and the gag monologue in the middle. So at this point in time, we're covering ground we've covered before. So of course we can bring other elements in. It's great. That, again, smart evolution. He's waited until he's delivered the thing, and now he's delivering it again with that additional backup. So we're not absorbing new information both from a lyrics standpoint and from a melody standpoint and from an accompaniment and harmony standpoint. It's coming in drip-fed, which that's lovely.
And with your Christmas of white, but I'll have a blue, 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 blue Christmas.
That is a rockapella shirt. Love it.
You've been doing all.
And then we drop back here to just Geoff once more. And it's great. It's great. We know we're coming towards the ending of the song at this point in time, and it doesn't need to be a grand ending. That's not really the way that we're going with this. And so I love that this is the way he's chosen to do it. It's let's bring... And the Geoffettes were never at a level with Geoff, which they often are. There wasn't that sense that they're standing next to him. They were always standing slightly behind, letting him have the limelight. And I think that's a fantastic decision. The construction of this arrangement and the way it's been mixed are fantastic.
You've been doing all right with your Christmas of white, but I'll have a blue, 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 blue Christmas.
And I like the fact that he doesn't try and slow it down or anything in that final sort of run through the chorus, or the second half of the chorus. It keeps its pace going, and all it does is it just slowly backs off a little bit. Like with the...
With your Christmas of white, but
We've gone back to that pattern with the guitar that we had at the beginning, where it's dum. Dum, da, dum, da, dum. You get that long stretch where there's just a chord fading away. And it brings us back to that kind of pace. We've taken it back to being a little slower now. It's not as busy, but it's also like there's not as notes as frequently behind him. It's a little bit more relaxed. And so it's starting to wind back down again. It's a really, really nice choice. And just these little bits of percussion. The bass is gone. The Geoffettes have gone. It's just this lovely kind of, slowly closing everything back up again. Great choice.
for Christmas of white, but I'll have a blue, 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 blue Christmas.
Also, great choice in the camera work. We sort of start to see Kathy pass by him, then we cut to her behind him, and so she passes off screen. We never really get a clear shot. The focus is still on Geoff at this point as she kind of just drifts past. And at this point in the film, the story that's being constructed visually here, if she just walked out of the shop, it could just be a choice to have something happening in the space with him. There's nothing to say that these two are going to have a meet cute in a second. And then we get this. And notice what they've done with the framing here. This is so good. Here, even though we're a little tighter in, and I think we're at that slight, because there's different angles here. There's one angle where you can see the two machines flashing green lights in the corner, which I think is probably the most straight-on angle. So we're slightly to Geoff's right here. And what that does is it frames, we've got his empty basket We've got the clothes on the rack in the back corner. We have a bunch of machines. All of this kind of like this. If you look at the center of the screen, roughly speaking, is about here. Like in terms of a vertical line going down the middle. So if you draw a line straight down here, and I'm actually using guidelines on OBS right now to tell me exactly where it is. Goes down. Well, it's hard to do that straight, but it goes down to about here. This side of the screen is largely empty. It's got stuff in it. And it's got stuff that we know is stuff. He's never interacted with this clothing rail. He's been emptying the basket. He's been folding these clothes. You know, the detergent he hasn't touched yet, and that's key. He hasn't interacted with that. We know the decorations in the background are just decorations in the background. There's an astonishing amount of empty space still in this shot. On the narrower side of the shot, we have Kathy, who is partially cut off by the edge of the screen. She is obscured by her own basket. She is further obscured by the little Christmas tree, which, yeah, we know it doesn't really go any higher. It probably doesn't even reach the level of her nose here. But she's blocked away. And then when we cut to this shot, we're starting to see her come on screen as she reaches for the detergent. She puts her hand out. She's entering the screen. We cut to the hands touching, and now we know, okay, these two are interacting. She became slightly more important just by being on the side of the screen. But she wasn't really she was in the shot, literally speaking, but she wasn't in the moment, in the scene with us yet. And now we get this. And now when we cut, we've realigned to this front-on camera. You can see those machines I was talking about in the reflection in the thing behind. So this is the more front-on shot. And now, even though Kathy is still obscured by the basket, the tree has gone. Notice that the center of the shot now kind of comes down about here, roughly speaking. So now Geoff himself is inhabiting more of this side of the frame. We've lost the clothes rail. His hand is now on the clothes, so he's interacting with them, which kind of, even though he's not really doing anything with them, kind of pulls them in a little bit more. Sure, the basket's still empty over here, but it's being pushed off screen. And what's coming on screen? Kathy. She's not cut, like the edge of her hand is cut off because it's off to one side, but she's not. Her body is fully in shot now. She's reaching into the shot. She's also reaching into our protagonist. This has been beautifully, beautifully framed. And then we get the look. And then we get the withdrawal, but we've got the eye contact now. So now what you could do here, and they do something else, which is great. But what you could do here is pan in slightly, zoom in slightly, bring the camera across slightly, have a dolly move that just brings them into the center. They don't do that. They do it like this. We go back to the shot that opened the film, except we're one machine further across, unless I'm very much mistaken. Oh, no, maybe we're not. No, it's the same machine. I tell a lie. It's just the angle's very slightly different. But, more importantly, where is the center of the image right now? It's right here. It's perfectly split between the two of them. Yes, Geoff's hand is slightly closer to the center, but if you gauge roughly where they're standing based on the center of the shot, they are now perfectly framed to be looking at each other in the center of this. And therefore, we've gone from Geoff being on his own to being almost more empty by having that shot where the clothing rack was in, and we've gradually peeled across until now, as we've flipped 180 and gone behind them, we're now seeing them perfectly lined up. That sequence is stunning. My only personal niggle, and it's so small. And it's so small. I wish they'd moved the camera from this shot. It's, for some reason, I don't know why. I know this is a music video, this isn't a movie, but it just bugs me that they left the camera in this shot. That's fine. It is what it is. But what a beautiful way to end this. That sequence is stunning. It's beautiful singing, lovely ending. The instrumental ending is great. But what a way to leave us with this final shot that hangs on. And even, yes, she pulls back slightly, but it's almost to open her body up and get a little bit more appreciation of what she's looking at. And it hangs on a second longer than it needs to. Like if we go back. Oh, stupid spacebar. It doesn't need to hang on quite that long. And that's the big rule in cinema. I remember hearing about this one. Well, there's multiple big rules in cinema, but one I remember hearing about a while ago is if you end up hanging on something for even a second longer than you need to, the audience's brain goes, oh, this is important. And what's more important to this song than that moment at the end? I love it! Also, I love the coloration of this gramophone icon. It's beautifully ornate. I love the choice of having the blue in the background. And there's something cool about like the white banner in front that's kind of eclipsing it slowly. This is great. But how good is that? Well played, Geoff, and everybody involved. I realised what I did not do in between my two watches was go and have a look at his description. So let's see. This version of Blue Christmas has been brought to you by folding laundry strangely. You too could fold your shirts like a psychopath by following my one-step system. Step 1, fold laundry while trying to sing Blue Christmas. The end. Thank you for sharing your year with me, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Happy holidays. That's funny. Well played. Anything else we need to know? Mixed by Ed, production manager Kathy, creative and visuals Geoff and Kathy, filmed at College Park Laundry and Dry Cleaners. These folks are the kindest people ever. That's awesome. And then everything else done by Geoff, of course. Shout out to patrons. Blue Christmas was made famous by Elvis Presley in 1957 and has been in heavy rotation on radio waves and jukeboxes ever since. How can you not love this song? Hugs, everyone. It's a beautiful song. How can you not love this song? By not having heard it before. Now I do. That's awesome. What a fantastic cover. I'm going to go and listen to the original now because I'm curious. But what a magnificent version. What a magnificent performance by Geoff. And a really sweet one at the end by Kathy as well. That was so heartwarming. Love it. Well played. That is gorgeous. Thank you very much for watching with me, especially if you're still here at the end. I really, really appreciate you spending some time with me, especially if you're doing so on Christmas Day. That's very kind of you. Please do like this, hit the subscribe button, notification bell to choose how often YouTube tells you I'm posting. And if you would care to donate to support the channel, you can do so in a one-off fashion at buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, or in a long-running fashion at patreon.com/DavidKReacts. A very, very happy holidays, a Merry Christmas to you. I hope that you're having an absolutely wonderful morning, afternoon, evening. I don't know, 5:43 p.m. Guessing roughly when this video is going to finish if you started watching it straight away. And if you did, hopefully you're not disrupting your Christmas. Take care. Look after yourselves. Have a wonderful time. I hope that you get to spend some time with family or doing something that you enjoy, making some holiday memories this year. Lots of hugs to everybody out there, and have a very, very good rest of your day. Take care. Bye for now. I'll see you in the next one.